Shalom, shalom, all praises be unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bishim Kakadash, the bodies of elders and apostles, or great most that are well. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Yeah, man, things have been happening in the news. It's getting hectic out here, man. But this is one here, says, this is from Live Science. And it says, flesh-eating vulvar infections reported in 3 cases. Gynecologists should know of the signs, experts warn. Doctors in the UK have warned gynecologists of a risk of necrotizing fasciitis, if I'm pronouncing it right, forgive me, in the external genitalia after seeing several cases. Necrotizing fasciitis is a dangerous bacterial infection that quickly kills soft tissue of the body. A new series of case reports highlights how the infections can affect the external female genitalia. Gynecologists should be informed of the signs of rare flesh-eating infections. Doctors warn because these dangerous infections can sometimes infiltrate the vulva. Yeah. You can read the rest for yourself. But see, this is a form of judgment, man. Yeah, this is a form of judging. And guess what? This is also thanks to who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man that has pushed this reckless over sexualization in society, man. In particular, the sexual revolution, which I'll speak about in a bit. You know, to bring scriptures out. So yeah, so this rare new disease, this flesh eating, man. This is prophetic, because the Lord spoke concerning the last days that there will also be, you know, diseases, man. Okay. But anyways, let me get scriptures. Let me start off with this verse, Ephesians 5. Go straight to the point, verse 3, and it says, "But fornication," which I'll look into the word, and uncleanness too, "and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints." Yeah, so we're not supposed to be associating with these characteristics and behaviors, man. You know, in particular, what's just recently happened, man. The thing that's been happening with Sakari, the Guerrilla Hebrew, you know, Alazay, you know, he was named amongst the unclean behavior and fornication behavior, man. Yeah, with the pagan, man. And more has come out concerning that issue with that, you know, that guy, Ariala. Anyways, neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. For this you know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an idolater, yeah, have any inheritance in the kingdom of Mashiach and of the Most High, Yahweh Shemashai. Let no man deceive you with vain words, nor for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Be ye not ye therefore partakers with them. So we're not supposed to be part of this lifestyle, man, and behavior. Yeah. So let me go into fornication, uncleanness, and all these words. You know, it shows you the society that we live in, man. And this was happening back then in Greco-Roman Empire. This is the spirit of these Edomite Romans. You know, that Jake Israelites, which is so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Hispanics, we was enslaved by these people, and they, you know, they influenced our people with this behavior. As you see there, Pornea, outline of biblical usage, it says illicit sexual intercourse. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the corn industry is about, man. Illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, yeah, Moism, as you can see there. Lesism, you know, the LG freakism, yeah, intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman. Now we know adultery, according to the scriptures, is if a man sleeps with another woman who is already married or in a relationship with someone. Yeah, because a man can have multiple women as long as those women are single and only belong to him. Now, if a woman's adultery is if she steps outside of a relationship or marriage and sleeps with another man. Yeah. According to the scripture, she's only supposed to have another man unless her current man, spouse, has died and she becomes a widow. Then she can marry in the Lord. Yeah. Men can have multiple women. Women cannot have multiple men. Yeah, that's the scriptures, man. Anyways, metaphorically or spiritually, the worship of idols, because there's physical adultery and spiritual adultery. Spiritual adultery is basically idolatry when you're worshiping another god or esteeming something higher than the Most High Yahweh Shemshai. Of a defilement of idolatry and incurred by eating the sacrifices offered to idols. Look, it says there Strong's definitions: harlotry, including adultery and incest, figuratively adultery, fornication. Uncleanness, akaphorasia, outline biblical usage: uncleanness, physical. In a moral sense, the impurity of lustful, luxurious, profligate living, of impure motives. Yeah, adultery is uncleanness. Yeah. Intercourse with animals is uncleanness. Impurity, the quality, physically or morally uncleanness. Yeah, doing things that are wicked, degrading, and abominable. See, filthiness. Filthiness, basically the same thing. Should be. Ascorotes, obscenity, filthiness. Yeah, shamefulness, obscenity, filthiness. Yeah, twerking in public. It's, it's shamefulness. You're on social media. You're on these, OF sites and stuff like that, and you'll do it, showing your body, getting into lewd, wicked, abominable, filthy, shameless behavior. And that's the society we live in, man. Like the fact that OF, if you know what I'm talking about, that where people could go on a site and degrade themselves for money, sell their bodies for money. It shows you what the society we live in, man. Go verse 5, look what it says there. You can see the word, man, kornos, man. I'm trying to stay away from the buzzwords. So I've got to say kornos. So you should know what that sounds like. But what it is, yeah? Outline of biblical usage. A man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire. A male prostitute, a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. Yeah? A male prostitute, fornicator, whoremonger, because this was happening in Greece. Yeah, temple, they call it temple prostitution. Again. Okay. So you get, look at this, Leviticus 20, verse 10, it says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, see, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and adulteress shall surely be put to, unalived. Yes, that's what the scripture says, man. That's the judgment. Okay, that's the judgment. That's how serious adultery is. Is one of the most deadly sins, man. Because what does adultery do? Adultery brings division, man. The scripture says 6 things the Lord hates, yea, 7 is abomination, and that 7th one is discord amongst brethren. You know, it divides and destroys and creates dysfunction within families, breaks people's hearts. See, it breaks people's hearts. It brings confusions because you might have kids. Kids don't know who their father is, or their father may have left because they found out their mother's been committing adultery, sleeping with other men, multiple men. Different men are coming inside their house. And we, in this legal system that we have, there's like no fault adultery and stuff like that, where women, people can't get judged for committing adultery. So therefore, if you don't get judged or penalized for committing adultery or being unfaithful, infidelity, you're gonna increase. You're gonna increase the likelihood of people still committing, unfaithful acts, man. Imagine if something was a crime before and you legalize it, what do you think people are going to be doing? They're going to they're going to do that thing that was used to be a crime, because now you can't judge them anymore. You see? That's why this is a wicked society. But anyways, the adulterer and adulteress shall surely be put, unalive. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, what comes out of adultery? Division in families, confusion, dysfunctional, and jealousy. Scripture says jealousy is the rage of a man. And it's righteous jealousy. Creates grudges and animosity. And this topic of the video, it creates diseases, man. You're passing. This is how diseases has got what's the word, prevalent or increased, is because of actions like this, adulterous and immoral, abominable sexual activity, man. Adultery, people sleeping with monkeys. It's ridiculous out here, man. Yeah, the LG freakism, the people that swing both ways. Yeah, that adds to the fuel and fire. See? But this is what Esau Edom has pushed into the world, man. Deuteronomy 23, verse 17, it says, there shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel. And that's what our people have become. The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, especially all Jakes, really. Yeah. Yeah. They're just too freaky deaky, man. Yeah. Now it's popular now to, like that song supposed to be by Thingy, man. Chris Brown was in it, but the main guy was singing it, Marion or something like that, and that Asian Israelite Jake woman, Iko or something like that, I forgot her name, but she made that line that became famous, eat the booty like groceries, and that catapulted amongst Jake, man. Now Jake are doing that disgusting behavior, man. And don't you think diseases have increased by that influence? Of course, regardless if they were doing it before or after, it has an effect, man. Yeah, there should be no whore of the daughters of Israel. And our women are known to be harlots, man. Yeah, doing trains. Yeah, no, a sodomite of the sons of Israel. Yeah, like them Benjamites called Batty man. You see, This is the book of Deuteronomy. So we were receiving the laws, and we were coming out of Egypt, man. Why? Because these Egyptians, these Hamites, yeah, they were into that, man. That's why when you see all their pictures, like in the pyramid pictures, I forgot the name for it. What it's called, but you see naked imagery and doing like you know LG freak behavior, man. And look at this scripture. This is prophesying basically the feminist movement, man, and sexual liberation, which came with those waves of feminism. This is Jeremiah 31:22 says, "How long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord Yahweh Shemashah have created a new thing on the earth." So this is new. And guess what? Just because it's new doesn't mean it's right. It's actually a curse and judgment. They created a new thing on the earth. A woman shall compass a man. So this was prophecy. Yeah, prophecy of what? The feminist movement and all these waves that came within it. A woman shall compass a man. So in other words, these women will have like, more rights than men. They will be esteemed higher. And it will create basically an imbalance in society. And that's what's been happening, man. Yeah. It's caused friction in society. And it's actually affected both men and women. Yeah, we live in this new age of society. Women out here, there's a term called hitting the wall. Yeah, women are old, probably unable to bear kids, or they have multiple kids by multiple men because of they've been living that lifestyle of that wicked wine indoctrination of the sexual revolution and feminism. Yeah, where it's actually bit them in the ass in the long run. See how it affects women too, and it also affects men because out here men are not. It's hard to just say hello to women without you know without be them saying, "Oh, you've harassed them" or stuff like that. Me too's and men are starting to stay by themselves and deprived from from sex and all of that. Not allowed to be honest, not allowed to be manly and masculine and have traditional values because it's considered misogynist. And you see, so it affects both men and women. See, now we have a thing called gender wars. When have you had gender wars in the past? But in this modern era, you have the families, men and women are divided, which is the elite's plan to divide and conquer, so it's easier to control because nobody trusts each other. Nobody is in unity. Yeah, and the old school traditional biblical way of the nuclear family was the best way, man, because it was the divine nature and purpose of the Most High Yahweh Shemashai. Is it not written what Adam said? You become one flesh. Yeah, but Esau, Edom, the elites, their plan is to divide the flesh. Yeah, to make the women rebellious and to make the men lonely and deprived. It's written in the scriptures it's not good for man to be alone. Anyways, let me get yeah, this is Google AI overview sexual revolution increase. I wrote, did it increase basically STDs? And it says yes. The sexual revolution, particularly in the 1950s and 60s, is associated with an increase in sexual transmitted disease (STDs), while the widespread use of penicillin for syphilis treatment in the 1950s initially helped to curb syphilis. It may have paradoxically contributed to a rise in other STDs, along with other risky sexual behaviors like teen pregnancies and illegitimate births. Yeah, people getting pregnant too quickly. But we know, according to the scriptures, if a woman's of age, past the flower of her age, she is able to bear children, as it's nature. But the problem is the society, this wicked modern society that we live in, you know, it teaches both men and women to be immature. So really and truly, in your teenage years, you're supposed to be at a certain level of maturity. But in this wicked Western society, people that are in their 30s and 40s are still thinking, behaving like you know, they're youngsters. Because in the ancient Israel, our women were being married in their teenage years. It's our customs, and they were mature. But anyways, because even science and biology, they will tell you like the strong and the most strongest and healthiest age is around those teen years to like early 20s. That's the women in their prime. Kevin Samuels used to talk about what the danger zone after you're past a certain age, past mid to late 20s, your eggs are starting to die. In this society, they encourage women to live a reckless Epicurean, overly sexualized, play the field, hot girl summer lifestyle. Then when they hit their 30s, now you have to accept them how they are when they've been ran through. That's wickedness. So now you have to accept them. Accept them when they're more ran through, more used, more likely unable to pair bond because they had so many relationships, flings, and situationships and trauma. But apparently you have, and more likelihood of diseases, which is this topic, and you just have to sit back and be okay with it. What kind of wickedness is that? Now she's ready to settle down because she had all her fun. All these men that have slept with her, they've had it for free. Now when she comes to you and she's ready to settle down, you have to pay for it. That's ridiculous. Anyways, look at this rise in other STDs. However, the decline in syphilis was accompanied by a rise in other STDs, included gonorrhea, and increases in risky sexual behaviors like teen pregnancy and illegitimate births. Shift in attitudes with sexual revolution also brought about changes in attitudes towards premarital sex, Moism, and women's sexuality. This is key because the people that were mainly target was women. The people that were behind all this, the elites, and it was the JOO women, man. Yeah, these small hat women were behind these theories and ideologies and pushing this wave onto women. Yeah. And our stupid black women, Latino women, they adopted this as well. Embraced it heavily. See, it says, and women's sexuality. Do what you want, girl. Nobody can judge you. You see? Jumping on the cock carousel. Hot girl summer. Girls trip. You see the movies. What was that all about? Being a freak. And a lot of them have, gone on holiday, being a freak, and all these, going to Jamaica, Barbados, Senegal, or whatever country to be a freak and come back. Like nothing happened to your husbands. You see? That's being promoted in society. Potentially leading to more individuals engaging in risky sexual behavior. See? Risky. Yeah? Because the ideology that Esau gave is reckless. You see? Contraceptive pill. The introduction of contraceptive pill in the 1960s further contributed to the sexual revolution, as it offered women, see, again, targeting women. The simple women, they think, oh, this is helping us. No, You're actually being targeted. It's making your life harder. That's why you got constant relationships. It's rare to find people in like a 5, 10 year relationships going strong. No, because they don't encourage loyalty. Yeah, that's why these contraceptive pills and the ideology of sexual revolution and social media has ruined the relationship dynamic. There's no integrity. There's no loyalty. There's no compassion. People are treating people as disposable objects. Yeah, there's no true, healthy biblical values that's being pushed out here. See, just broken families. Think about, do you not know in this modern era it's very common um, for fathers not to be in the house, parents parents doing co-parenting or no co-parenting. It's just everyone's divided. Thanks to who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, starting with the elites. See, society has become worse. Yeah, the introduction of contraceptive pill in the 1960s further contributed to the sexual revolution as it offered women greater control. See? Control. Is that not what the scripture says? A new thing upon the earth. A woman shall compass a man. In other words, a woman shall have more control over men, control over reproduction, and potentially encourage more sexual activity. See? Yeah. And it all links with housing as well. Plan Bs and all of that. Margaret Sanger's and that. Kick out the men so you can have the house and get benefits. And while that's happening, you best believe that your ex partner is bringing new guys in the house. Now your children are raised confused because you're seeing other men that's not daddy at home. Waking up at night because hearing her mom get banged by different men every night each week. This is hell, man, out here. This is a cold, a demonic, abominable, disgusting world we live in, man. And it needs to be destroyed, man, by Yahweh Shemishai. If stuff like this, if this topic alone doesn't get you angry, then, bro. Continued rise of STDs. Data from the USA showed a steady increase in reported STDs during the 60s, with a leveling off or decline of most bacterial STDs, but continued increases in viral STDs and genital chlamydia infections during the 1970s and 80s. So it's been getting worse at every decade. So imagine from 60s to 2025, almost 2030. Yeah. Yeah. So we're almost 60 to 70 to years from that time period, and things got worse. Yeah, it talks about, declines in gonorrhea and stuff like that. Obviously, because, and syphilis is why, because they've been finding cures and stuff like that. Mm. However, some of these declining trends have reversed since the turn of the century, and the prevalence of some STDs. So it's still things out there, man, and new things, and things get worse. So like chlamydia has continued to vary, reflecting the impact of control programs and other factors. Okay. See, look at that. You can see there in the sexual revolution Wikipedia. You can see the, I don't know, buttons. One of them says orgies catered. And what does the scripture say concerning the last days? This is Matthew 24, Go straight into the point. Verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, the birth pains, the tip of the iceberg." Yeah. So let's look at the word pestilences. Limos, and it says outline of biblical usage. A pestilence, fellow, pest, plague. Strong's definition, a plague, literally the disease. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a disease. STDs, sons of what? Sexually transmitted diseases. So this is also part of prophecy. The last days. Flesh eaten. It's consuming your body. You're decaying. Yeah. It's like the black widow, man. The male spiders, trying to breed up with the black widow, and the black widow is killing them, man. So it's literally costing your lives to sleep with these modern, reckless, ratchet, undisciplined women, man. See, that's why we got to be careful out here and pray to the Lord, man. You may be thinking, yeah, man, these days you can't even interact or get women. But guess what? When you're hearing news like this, you're realizing it's basically a blessing that you can't deal with like these women, man, because of what they're capable of doing to you, man. I understand it can be frustrating. I go through that as well. You can't even find like a decent woman, stuff like that. But it is what it is, man. It's all down to the spirit, and things are going on anyway, such as this. But this is all Esau, man. Habakkuk 2, verse 15, it says, "Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, yeah, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness." And what's that drink? That's that wicked wine of toxicity, poison, in terms of ideology and doctrine, man. The feminist movement with all those different waves, such as the sexual revolution, is a dangerous and reckless, poisonous wine indoctrination and philosophy, man, that has destroyed society, has destroyed and corrupted the minds of the people, men and women, man. Yeah. The feminist movement is so strong that we're even talking about it today, it's almost 70 years after. Men and women have podcasts debating about relationships, and the women don't do this, the men don't do this. Everything's a big cluster fuck, man. Why? Because the plans of these elites have divided and conquered the minds of the people and filled it with corruption, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Yeah. So that's what Esau wants to do, man. He wants to destroy us, then say, look at yourselves. He's such a hypocrite, but he's the one that's allowed it into society. Yeah, shows that Esau is heartless, and he carries that same mentality as Cain, as he is. Am I my brother's keeper? So he's a careless and heartless, cold person. Yeah, because if you're a true righteous king and ruler of the earth, you're gonna contribute or project and inject into society good deeds and good, healthy, biblical values, man. But he doesn't. Anyways, Proverbs 12, verse 26. "The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor." Who's the righteous? The Israelites. Yeah, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Hispanics, and those that are scattered and believe. We are the righteous. And our neighbor, which is our wicked twin brother and sister, is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Yeah, by the way of the wicked seducing them. So we've been seduced. Our people have been seduced, bamboozled, lied to, manipulated into the indoctrination of his wicked agenda, man. You see? So all these diseases was thanks to him, man. Look at this, verse 28. In the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway whereof there is no death. So what's the opposite of righteousness? Wickedness. So if righteousness is life, that means wickedness is death and diseases, dysfunctionality. And that's what Esau has caused. Diseases. Anyways, with that, be careful. Adultery and all that LG freakism behavior and the feminist movement and sexual revolution. Be careful of dealing with women that have that mentality, man. You want a good, humble woman that's submissive, man. Which is rare to find, and you don't expect to have it in completeness anyway. Anyways, with that, shalom.